So good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Welcome. So again, as usual, we would start with a short breathing, mindful breathing exercise. Watching our breath mindfully. Then we can try to generate good intention and motivation by us coming together, listening to the teachings, reflecting, contemplating. And due to all of that, may we be able to make a strong connection with Mother Dharma, and to be able to act and benefit swiftly to all sentient beings. And may we be able to actualize and achieve Guru Mother Dharma state as soon as possible, so we can liberate each and every sentient being from all the suffering, cause of suffering, and the samsara. Guide and lead them to their highest potential, their own Guru Mother Ayatara state. Okay. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the four destroyer, the completely perfect, fully awakened, perfect knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knowledge of the world, supreme guide of human beings, became teacher of God, human beings, to you, the complete and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subdued from the Shakyapli. I prostrate, make offering, and go for refuge. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the Great Sangha, to all three ever devout homage, to all worthy of respect, bowing with body as many as all rams, Adam in all aspects, with a supreme faith, I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous action. Perform only perfect virtuous action. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual application, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop, dew, or bubble, a dream, flash of lightning, a clouds. See condition things as such. Through this merit, may sentient beings attain the rank of all things, subdue the four faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Across the Arya Tibetan, thus did I hear one time the Bhagwan was dwelling on the mass of Bodhisattva mountain in Geshe, together with a great community of monks and great community of Bodhisattva. At that time, the Bhagwan observed in concentration on category of phenomena called profound perception. Also, at that time, the Bodhisattva Master Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of profound perfection of wisdom and beheld those five aggregates also as an empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Sherab said this to the Bodhisattva Master Arya Avalokiteshvara: how should any son of the lineage stand who wish to practice the activity of profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Master Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Sherab Buddha, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wish to practice the activities of profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this correctly and repeatedly, beholding those five aggregate also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness form, emptiness not other than form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factor, and consciousness are empty. Sherab, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, no division, no fulfilling. Sherab, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factor, and no consciousness. No eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomena. There is no eye element and so on up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on and up to and including no aging and death and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering originating cessation and that there is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, also no non-attainment. Sherab, therefore, because there is no attainment, Bodhisattva rely on dwelling the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond era, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in Tibetan also manifestly completely awakened and unsurprised for perfect, complete enlightenment in the love of perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, are the unsurprised mantra, the mantra equal to the unincomparable. The mantra that totally satisfies all self should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of perfection of wisdom declared that Om Gade Gade Paragade Parasam Gade Bodhi Soha. Sherab, the Bodhisattva Master, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagwan arose from the concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Master Arya Avalokiteshvara. Well said, son of the lineage. It is like that, it is like that. One should practice a profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Bhagwan having thus spoken, the Venerable Sherab Buddha, the Bodhisattva Master Arya Avalokiteshvara, and those surrounding the entire day alone with the word of God, human, asura, and Gandhavas of overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan. So Shibeji Chungshin Meto Tavirali Si Yinde Gebandi Sanke Shintu Mide Uwai Dokun Namata Shin Shivasha Yedam Guru Rana Mandala Niyataya. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye Shodan Soge Sonam La Chanjo Bado Dani the Geshe give us one up and there's okay. Some get so don't forget or no. The Geshe give us one up. The love and the song get do what I show. So last Friday, we started with this particular Dharma practice. I guess this is the practice. I guess we do at TNL. So within the practice, I know we kind of went through generating motivations, and then visualizing the refuge field, and then generating definition of bodhicitta. And after that, then engaging to the civilian practice as a way of purification, accumulating merit. And then, so I think we have finished up to that. And I think today we are where the mandala is. And again, the mandala is one of the powerful practice to accumulate merit. And so, and again, there are long mandala, middle mandala, and short mandala. So here is short mandala. And within mandala, there is the external mandala, internal mandala, subject mandala. And here we see two verses, and that is the external mandala and internal mandala. So in external mandala, this ground and other perfume stone with flower. So you visualize the whole universe, with anointed the perfume, strong with flowers, and in the middle of that, in the middle of the universe, there's the Mount Meru. I don't know the Mount Meru, and it's surrounding the Mount Meru. In 4 directions, there are 4 continents, and then the sun and moon. So those are sometimes we call 7 heaps of mandala, often 7 heaps. So Mount Meru, 4 continents, so that become 4 heaps, sun and moon, then 7 heaps. And then I imagine this as Buddha field, and so we visualize and think and imagine this mandala as a pure Buddha field, and offer it to hear Guru Aretara, who is your root guru in the aspect of the form of Tara, Green Tara, and who encompasses all the Buddhas and all the Buddha's activities, enlightened activities. So offer it to her. And by offering, may all living beings enjoy this pure land, and so that we create a cause and dedicate so that all sentient beings enjoy this pure land of the Buddha field in the future. And then that is the external mandala. And then internal mandala is, the object of my attachments, So the object of my attachments, aversion, ignorance. So the object of attachment is friends, friends, families, relative, and all other objects that we're attached to, whatever object we are attached to, our own body, our wealth, fame, reputations, praise, and whatever we're attached to. So we all those objects of attachments. And the object of aversions is enemy, those enemies or those whom we dislike, to whom we have dislike, to whom we have bad feeling, which we aversions. So again, all of those objects. And the object of ignorance is strangers, neutral sentient beings, as well as objects which are objects that with which we do not have any attachment, neither aversions, but kind of neutral, So all those objects, as well as my body, wealth and enjoyment, and our virtues, without any sense of loss, I offer this collection. So we in our imagine, we think and mentally offer it, and without any hesitation, without any clinging, grasping, and without any expectations, then we offer all these objects or all this collection to the Guru Mother Ayatara. Please accept it, So then we make this request to Guru Mother Ayatara. Please accept the offerings, of this the object of this offering with the pleasure, and bless me with freedom from the three poisons, So request to accept it, and to accept it delightfully with a pleasure, and to guide us, to support us, to help us to overcome the three poisonous state of mind, the attachment, the aversions, and the ignorance, which are the root of all other afflictive emotions, and the root of our contaminated karma, and the root of our suffering and problems. And yedam Guru Randa Mandala Niyatayami, so I make this precious mandala, to the yidam of the deity here, Mother Tara, and Guru, who is inseparable from the Guru, Mandala Niyatayami. So I offer it to you. So that is the mandala offerings. Okay. So then next, is the practice of purifying different problems, different negative karma and delusions, and as well as practice of receiving the blessings. So there he said, then imagine one chakra at a time, okay? And each of those chakras are very powerful. So those chakras, those are psychic chakra, So we visualize those chakra at different part of, in the crown or forehead, speech, heart, at navels, and like that. But they all are, kind of psychic chakra, And so in our mind, we visualize each of them as is described. And each of those chakras are very powerful, and blissful. And from each of those powerful chakras, blissful light coming from each of those her 5 chakras. So first we visualize 5 chakras at the Guru Mother Tara, at at her forehead, at her throat, and her heart and navel, and the secret place, 5 chakras. So those are the 5 chakras. Entering, and from that Guru Madhatara's chakras, then, blissful light. And those blissful light are in nature, or in essence, those are compassionate wisdom, enlightening wisdom, nature, but in the form of that blissful light, and then enter your own those 5 chakras, one by one as we go through, and feeling you completely, feeling your whole body completely, and then first purifying all your negativities, such as illness, spiritual harm, delusion, the negative karma, delusion, and obscurations, so purifying that and feeling you the blessing, and then, and then receiving the blessings, so that is, and so now is going more details in that, so first, so before we do that, you visualize, at the Guru Mother Tara's forehead, or eyebrow, you visualize a chakra at that white Om syllable, okay? And then at the throat chakra, then you visualize, red R syllables at Mother Tara. And at her heart chakra, then you visualize, blue Hung syllables. And then at her navel chakra, then you visualize, yellow Soha syllables, yellow syllables. And then at her secret chakra, then you visualize, green ha letter, or ha syllable. So you visualize first at the 5 chakras of Guru Mata Tara, those 5 syllables with those 5 different colors. Okay. And then once you are done, then here first Tara send powerful blissful white light from the Om syllable or the letter at her, brow chakra or forehead chakra, or you can visualize a crown chakra, and through that, and as I mentioned, this blissful, powerful, blissful white light is not just an ordinary white light, okay? In nature, in essence, it is Guru Mother Tara's enlightened, compassionate wisdom, but in the form of, or in the aspect of that blissful white light, and which enter, your brow, or even, you can do crown too, and through crown, and then completely fill you, as though like when there is it is raining, you have a bucket, and that the whole bucket being filled up. Similarly, that lights nectar flow, and then your whole body fill up. And once that, then you imagine that all your problems and sufferings, so all our illness, whatever physical illness, whatever emotional, mental illness, all the problem, all the sufferings, and the heaviness, where our body feel very heaviness and grossness, and so that kind of heaviness and grossness that make our body inflexible to practice the Dharma. When your body is heavy and gross, then you become more tired and less flexible, and then it become more lazy, so that of all your bodies like that are being purified by that light, light and nectars, and then also it purifies all the harms you have ever done to any living beings, especially with this body, and not only this body, all the harm we have done with our body in the past, all your infinite past bodies is also completely purified, totally eradicated, and not even one atom left, so all these sufferings, illness, problems, and all the negative karma that we have created through the body from the beginning lifetime have been completely cleansed and purified, and not even trace or atom of any of those negative karma is left. So we try to visualize, imagine, think, and we try to visualize, imagine, we try to do with total convictions. Instead of thinking, I'm just kind of imagining, actually you really think that it's really clean and purified, instead of thinking, oh, I'm just visualizing it, it's not really thinking that it's not really being purified, it's not really being cleansed, but I'm just visualizing. You don't think that way. When you do that, when you are doing that, you really from your heart, from depth of your heart, without any two-minded, you think that it has totally been cleansed and purified, So you try to do that visualizations little bit, take your time especially when you have time, And then after a little time, after you have done that, then again, you imagine a light coming this time, you imagine, more light and nectar flow from the crown of the broad chakra and the Om syllable of Guru Mother Tara, and feeling your whole body and receiving all the blessings, of our enlightening body, speech, and mind, And here, especially visualize that your body has become blissful light body. So after you receive all the enlightened blessing of enlightened body of Mother Tara, and then that transform, your own body, and your own body become blissful light body, and then try to experience that blissfulness as much as you can, And that blissful, when your body becomes that blissful light body, just like Mother's Tara's blissful rainbow body, like rainbow body, nothing grows indestructible, So that light body, that rainbow body is nothing that grows unheavy like our ordinary body, It's not a heavy and gross like our ordinary body, but instead, there's nothing gross about it. It's a light, and it is indestructible, unlike like this body, which can be destroyed, like a light that is indestructible. Just like it will be when you attain the deity, body here, the deity here is Mother Dara, Sambhava Kaya. The enjoying body of the Buddhas. So then second, from her throat chakra, she sent a red light from the R syllable at her throat chakra. Okay. Again, that red light, powerful, blissful red light. Okay. You try to visualize that very powerful, blissful light. And that powerful, blissful light that comes through that R syllable at the throat chakra is not an ordinary light, but it is, again, as I mentioned, all these light are, enlightened, compassionate wisdom in essence, in nature, but in that form. That is, and then that enter your own throat, and then that light, powerful, blissful light, purify all the problem of your speech, all the problem of speech, and such as, inappropriate speech, useless speech, uncontrolled speech, angry out of control speech, the inability to express yourself appropriately, and that all the harm we have ever done to any living beings with our speech in this life and in infinity past life is totally being purified, eradicated by that powerful, blissful light, and not even one atom of any kind of problem, speech problem, and negative karma created a speech is left. So again, we try to all the speech, yelling, for example, out of when we lose our mind, yelling, such as, lying, divisive speech, harsh speech, and useless, such as, meaningless idle gossips, and so those speech, those speech are being completely purified. And then the light comes again, powerful, blissful light again from the throat chakra and red earth level. And this time you imagine you are totally full of the blissful, perfect and compassionate wisdom and appropriate speech of, like the appropriate speech of Guru Matadara, such as that every sound you utter is necessarily beneficial to all living beings who hear is all of which is your potential, and feel the full of this powerful energy. So you can visualize, you receive all the blessings of Guru Matadara, but especially the blessing of enlightened speech of Guru Aryatara, okay? Guru Mother Aryatara, that you receive, especially here, the enlightened blessings of the speech of Guru Aryatara. And having received that, then all your speech is more gentle, more compassionate, more kind speech, more wiseful speech, more truthful speech, more beneficial speech, and whatever speech you use, it helps to transform someone's mind, to bring someone's mind, transform and change someone's mind, to bring them peace and happiness. So, and that is the potential we have. Our speech has that potential, and then feel the full of that powerful energy, the potential we have in our speech, the potentials, powerful potential that we have in speech to transform the negative speech into something very powerful and very beneficial speech. And then third, from the Taras, heart chakras, Taras send powerful beams of blue light like a sky from the blue hung syllable at her heart chakra, and then which enter your heart chakra at the center of your chest, around there. Again, those chakras are psychic, as I mentioned, and imagine that all your unhappiness of your mind, such as your confusions, the arrogance, attachments, anger, jealousy, pride, resentment, hurt, anxiety, self-hate, whatever those harmful negative mind, thoughts, feeling, emotions, all of those is totally purified, and that all your delusion, including the root ignorance, and the ego grasping, which are the cause of your own suffering, as well as cause of suffering for others, cause of, hurting others, and of why you harm others is totally eradicated by this powerful, blissful blue light, and not one atom is left. So not one atom of those negative feelings, thoughts, emotions, negative mind, the delusions left, so and then you visualize again that powerful, blissful light, from the heart of heart chakra and the blue hung syllable of Guru Aryatara, comes and enter your heart chakra and your body, whole body. And this time you feel full of blissful, omniscient, compassionate mind of Guru or Lama Aryatara, which is your potentials. So you visualize, you receive all the blessings, especially the blessing of enlightened mind. So you visualize receiving all the blessings of Guru Mother Aryatara, but especially the blessing of enlightened mind here, the enlightened mind of the Guru Aryatara, and so that we receive, infinite, love, compassion, bodhicitta mind, the vast and profound enlightened wisdom mind, and then, the omniscient mind, that sees and understand each of sentient beings' different predispositions. We can see each of sentient beings, karmic potentials. We can see each of sentient beings' state of level or state of the mind, so that we can help and benefit according to their needs, so that omniscient mind to be able to see all of that, and through that then so that we can be greatest being. So then seeing, this is the potential of our mind, try to see this is the potential of our mind. This is the potential of our mind, and trying to feel that potentials, And then fourth visualizations, you visualize, Guru Mother Tara sends from the, yellow soha, not soha, because ha is the letter, and yellow soul from her navel chakra, forefinger wet below her navel, and powerful and blissful laser beam of yellow light that penetrated your navel chakra, just below your navel, filling you completely with that, blissful, powerful yellow light. And then it purifies, totally all your hopelessness, the feeling of hopelessness, the feeling of powerlessness, the feeling of helplessness, the feeling of inability to act effectively, the self-doubt, not having confidence in yourself or your ability, and doubting yourself or your ability, the self-doubt, and all other block negative energies, all other block negative energies for you to act and to be benefit to other sentient beings and yourself. So all of those has been completely cleansed, purified, completely cleansed, purified, eradicated, and not even one atom of that kind of hopeless feeling, powerless feeling, helpless feeling, in the feeling of inability to act effectively, the self-doubt, and all of that, all this block energy being completely cleansed and purified, and not even one atom of those feelings or are left. And next, then you imagine that again, powerful, blissful light from the Lama Tara's navel chakra fill you with the power, Instead of powerless, then, fill with your power, inner strength, inner power, instead of feeling inability to act effectively, the feeling of, confidence and your ability to act effortlessly to help and benefit. So receiving that, and to do what needs to be done, whatever is most beneficial to each and every sentient beings, and whatever is needed to do to help and benefit other sentient beings. So your ability to do that, your capacity to do that, also receiving that capacity, that ability to do that, and with wisdom and compassion for the benefit of all sentient beings. So you visualize that, and receiving all the blessings of Guru Mother Tara's, all the blessings, but especially the blessing of all her excellent qualities. Receiving the blessing of all her excellent virtuous qualities, and then feeling your whole body with those positive qualities, the self-confidence, the the courageous, and through the self-confidence, courage, feeling with strength, inner strength, and then then the ability to help, benefit, and not really help and benefit, the ability to help tirelessly, effortlessly, and not only ability to help tirelessly, effortlessly, but to be able to help according to whatever need to be done, whatever is more beneficial. And then the fifth, you visualize, okay, that Tara sends the green heart, her letter at her secret chakra, again, powerful and blissful beam of green light that penetrates your secret chakra, filling you completely with that powerful, blissful green light, which in essence, as I mentioned before, is the enlightened, compassionate wisdom in the form of that green light. Then here, once you feel, you imagine that it totally purifies all your out of control, unhappy attachments, energy, all the earnings, the desire which make you miserable and unclear, unsatisfied, which cause you to harm others. So the sense of feeling of, greediness, miserliness, feeling of not being enough, dissatisfied, unhappy, dissatisfied mind, wanting more and more, better and better all the time, no matter how much you have, not always being satisfied, always wanting better, always wanting more and more, that kind of attachment, that kind of desire, unhappy, undissatisfied mind. So all this mind being completely cleansed, purified, completely, And then you imagine this blissful green light penetrating your secret chakra, filling you completely with this very powerful, blissful feelings, and feeling of total satisfaction, contentment, and fulfillment, happiness and pleasure, and receiving all the blessings of the Guru Mother Tara, especially the blessing of her activities, the virtues of her activities, and all this, instead of dissatisfied, being very satisfied, instead of being, unhappy, being very happy, instead of miserable, feeling pleasure, instead of feeling not enough and empty, feeling fulfillment, and all of that. So, and then the sixth, then you visualize the 5 lights coming from, Tara's 5 chakras simultaneously, so from the, crown or eyebrow chakra, white Om syllable, at the throat chakra, red R syllable at heart chakra, the Hung, blue Hung syllable at navel chakra, yellow So syllables, and secret chakra, then green heart syllables, from all of that, 5 chakras and those 5 syllables at those 5 chakras. From that, very powerful, blissful 5 color lights simultaneously flow from those 5 chakras and the syllables, and penetrating your 5 chakras, and filling you with the rainbow body light. So feeling, that, as we mentioned before, there's no more heavy and gross body. Is, rainbow body, light body, and not only body, all your speech and all your mind, being transformed, healed, purified, and becoming enlightened, transforming that. And this time feeling that even the subtle stand of all delusions are totally eradicated, not one atom is left. So this time you visualize cleansing and purifying the subtle obscurations, sometimes known as the obscuration of knowledge. Obscuration of knowledge, the most subtle obscuration, and that obscurations is the imprint left by the delusions. They are not the delusion itself, but the imprint left by the delusions. And that makes the things to appear inherently to our mind. Why the objects, whatever object, phenomena appear to exist inherently to our mind is because of that obscurations, because of that subtle obscurations. And so that is obscuration becoming omniscient. And so the stain or the subtle stain or imprint of all delusions are totally eradicated. And feel that I'm now fully enlightened. And then, since there are no more obscurations, since you are purified of the obscuration of the delusion and obscuration of the knowledge, and so when there's no more obscurations, then one is become fully enlightened, fully awakened, and so therefore one try to feel that when you're free from all this obscuration, then one become fully enlightened, fully awakened. No more obscuration, become omniscient. When there's no more obscuration, there's nothing that can stop from becoming enlightened or fully awakened. And when there's nothing that can stop, but all the conditions are there to become enlightened, fully enlightened, awakened, then one become fully awakened or fully enlightened. Feel very blissful, feel very blissful. So, when you are free from all the negativities of body, speech, and mind, all the delusion, all the obscurations, and feel free from all of that, and feel with all, sense of all the blessed body, speech, and mind, enlightened body, feel with all the positive state of mind, sense of content, satisfaction, infinite compassions, profound wisdoms, infinite courage, all of that, feel with all that, then there's great bliss. And stay in this blissful state, Stay in that blissful state, powerful, blissful state, concentrating on being oneness with the energy of Mother Dharma, Guru Mother Dharma, So the energy of the Guru Mother Dharma is, powerful, blissful state, powerful, blissful state. That has the power, the energy to act whatever is needed according to each and every sentient beings to be greatest benefit. And so try to stay in, try to experience and rest in that blissful state as much as you can. First try to feel it, the blissful state, and then keep that blissful state and try to rest in that blissful state, which is oneness of the powerful blissful state. That is oneness of that Guru Mother Tara's energy. And so you try to rest as much as you can in that state. So next one is dissolutions. Okay, absorption or dissolutions. Imagine the Lama Tara's lotus dissolve upward in her body. So when we visualize the Guru Mother Tara, we visualize on top of lotus, that she was sitting on the lotus. That lotus kind of dissolve into Mother Tara. The cushions, the lotus cushions. Okay, the lotus cushion we have visualized before. That lotus cushion dissolves into Mother Tara or Mother Tara body. Okay, then she comes to sit above your crown. Then she descends. Before you are visualized in front of you above, now she descends on top of your crown. And then facing the same way as you. Before she was facing towards you. And you were facing towards her. Now she descends on top of your crown, and then she also facing same way as you face. Then out of her wish to be oneness with your mind, out of her compassions, out of her infinite, limitless compassions, and the wish to be oneness with your mind, and she's your guru. Remember, so we always, when we practice any deity yoga, okay, here is the deity Tara yoga, okay, or practice. Whenever we practice any deity yoga, we always try to remember and be aware that deity is one and inseparable from your root guru. And we always try to keep that all the time. And so that is here also, she's your guru, remember, so that we always try to remember that all the time, not just this time. Whenever we do any deity yoga, always remember and be aware that whatever deity we are visualizing, whatever deity we are practicing, whatever deity yoga we are practicing here, Mother Tara, is your own root guru, is your own root guru manifesting in that form, in that aspect, So that is, and then that guru Mother Tara, she dissolved into the green light, okay? So the Guru Mother Tara body, which is the rainbow body, then dissolve into the green light, And that green light melts into your crown. That green light then melts into your crown. And having melted into your ground, then that light goes down to your central channel, which is close to the back of your body, run just in the front of your spine, to your heart chakra, Again, psychic, when we talk about the chakras, we remember those are psychic chakras, Heart chakra, and once that light dissolves into that, she merged with your subtle consciousness, your clear light mind. So Guru Aryatara, Guru Mother Aryatara, merge and become one, inseparable from your most subtle consciousness, your most subtle or the very most subtle consciousness, and that is your clear light consciousness. Your clear light consciousness that is free from all the gross mind, free from all the perceptions, free from all the, since there is no more gross mind, since there is no conceptions, then no more distractions. And so therefore that mind is more powerful to use to meditate, and if we can meditate with that clear mind, it's so easy to develop realization emptiness, directly. So you think Tara's mind, Guru's mind, my mind, same thing, and you feel blissful. So here we try to meditate, by feeling, Guru's mind, the deity Tara's mind, and your mind all become merged into one. They all become one. They all become inseparable. Oneness. And you try to stay in that oneness, in one inseparable, the Guru, the deity Tara, and your mind, oneness, inseparable, and trying to feel the blissfulness, the bliss when your mind becomes Tara's mind, fully enlightened Tara's mind. There is such a great bliss. The mind is free from all the obscuration, all the negativities. That is actualized all the positive qualities, And so then try to experience that blissfulness and try to rest in that blissfulness. That blissfulness that comes from merging of the Buddha's, the Aryatara, the root Guru in your mind, one, merging into one, becoming inseparable. And then through that great bliss is induced, try to feel that great blissfulness and then try to rest in that great blissfulness without, thinking anything else, just experience and rest that blissfulness as much as long as you can. As much as long as you can. So then benefiting others. Then you can visualize all sentient beings surrounding you. Your enemies in the right, in front of you. Your friends, relative, families, to whom we are close. You can visualize them in the left of your side. And the strangers, those who are neutral to us or which we feel neutral to them. Neither they are someone we dislike or we feel enemy, neither we feel very close, but who are more neutral, those. Most of sentient beings probably we feel that way. Neither someone with his height, neither will be very close, but more neutral. So strangers. All the rest to the right of yourself. And everywhere else, feeling the space above, below, to the side, everywhere. Anyway, it is said that there is not an atom space where there aren't sentient beings. So you just try to visualize whole space filled with all sentient beings. Some you say, you visualize all in human form, but having their individual sufferings. So all sentient beings of 6 realms, okay, filling the whole space, but all in human form, but experiencing their individual suffering of individual realms, individual realms or individuals, rebirth. And then think, contemplate and think, they all want to be happy, just like ourselves. Just as we want to be happy all the time, each and every sentient beings which we visualize, they all want to be happy just like ourselves. And don't want to suffer. Just as we do not want to suffer, even for a second, even the most tiniest, even the most slight and tiniest suffering we don't want. Same way, each and all sentient beings that we have visualized, they also do not want suffering. Not only they do not want suffering, but and not only they want happiness, even they want happiness, they continue to achieve happiness because they don't know how to create the real cause of happiness. On the other hand, even they do not want suffering, even for a second, they continue to experience suffering because they continue to create the cause of sufferings. They do not want suffering, but they continue to create cause of suffering. They want happiness, but they do not know how to create a cause of happiness, or they do not create a cause of happiness. And due to that, then they continue to experience suffering and they continue to lack happiness. And, so that is the situations of the sentient beings. So we try to reflect, contemplate on that, and try to feel the compassionate mind, the compassionate mind, the wish, the desire to free them from all the suffering and cause of suffering, and the wish and desire to lead them to the happiness and cause of happiness. So try to cultivate that strong, compassionate mind, that strong, compassionate state mind, And then from out of that compassionate mind, then, so now I'm Buddha, what choice do I have but to benefit them is my job, So and so once we feel compassion, then we can also think, contemplate, not only they do not want suffering, they continue to suffer. Not only they want happiness, but they struggle to find happiness. But they all are looking at you. They all are looking at us with a great hope, with a great expectations to help them. Like a mother, like a small child who is looking to the mother when they have fear, when whatever problem they have, they look towards the mother with so much, hope, expectations, hope and expectation that the mother will save her, that mother will provide her comfort, the child comfort, will help protect them. In the same way, all these sentient beings are looking at you with all this hope, with all these expectations, hope to help them to free from the suffering and cause of suffering, hope to help them to lead them to true happiness and cause of happiness. So when they have put so much hope in that way, how can we ignore them? How can we ignore them? Especially when you have the capacity, the ability to help benefit, since you are fully enlightened. You have no more obscurations, when you have no more negativities, and you have gathered all the positive qualities. So how can one not help and benefit them? So therefore, I must fulfill their hope. This is the opportunity to help and benefit them. All the practice I have done in the past is for this reason, to achieve the enlightenment, so I can fulfill their hope, to fulfill their wishes, to fulfill their their well-beings. So we walk through all the path, practice, to reach this state so that we can benefit them. And so therefore, now is the time. I've achieved that state, and now I must and I will, I must and I will help and benefit them. So with that, try to generate that strong, compassionate mind, the wish to be greatest help, benefit, the wish to free and liberate them their suffering and cause of suffering, the wish to lead them to the ultimate happiness and cause of happiness. So you try to feel that compassionate mind, loving kindness mind, the bodhisattva mind, as much as possible, as strong as much as possible, as strong as possible, And then we recite the Tara's mantras, So then, while you try to keep that loving kindness, compassionate mind, bodhisattva mind that you have cultivated, while trying to keep it alive, while trying to hold on that feeling without letting it die, while you are trying to feel that alive, the flame of the fire or the flame of that love, compassion, bodhisattva still alive very strongly as much as possible, then you try to recite the Tara mantra, Om Tat Tu Soha, and you try to recite as many times as you like, We can recite, 1 mala, 2 mala, 3 malas, 7 malas, 10 malas. Or when you don't have time, you can do 21 times, or you can do 7 times, you can do 3 times, So depending on your time, depending on how much time you have, depending on that, how much you want to spend, So you try to recite, It doesn't have to be the same number all the time. Of course, if you can recite many every day, that is great. But, as you recite, so the visualizations, what you try to recite is, imagine that millions of tiny green Dhara emanate out from your heart, So you can visualize, beams of light, green beams of powerful, blissful light emanating from your rainbow body of the, which is inseparable from the deity green Dhara, then it's rays in all 10 directions, everywhere, and entering the heart of all suffering sentient beings that we have visualized, filling the whole space. So, as that green light, powerful, blissful green light, and those powerful, blissful green light is, again, not just a light, but it's an enlightened energy. It's enlightened energy. It's the enlightened, compassionate wisdom in the form of that green light. And then entering heart of all sentient beings, and the moment it entered in, taking away their sufferings. Just like when you turn on the light, immediately it dispels the darkness in one moment. When you turn the light on, that very moment, you dispel the darkness immediately. In the same way, the moment that powerful, blissful, enlightened, green light enter each of those suffering sentient beings, immediately that moment their sufferings has been taken away, their suffering has been dispelled. All their suffering has been dispelled together with the cause of the sufferings. Immediately, instantly, it is dispelled. And giving them everything they need, and then we can, and receiving, they all receive, everything they need, Those who need good health, they receive good health. Those who need, who are going through whatever conflict, they receive, peace and reconciliations and harmony, those who need financial help, receiving financial wealth, those who need, strength, inner strength, external strength, they receive. So whatever their needs, they receive that through that enlightened, blissful, powerful green light. And then they receive all the blessings of enlightened body, speech, mind. And they receive, infinite loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta mind, infinite profound wisdom, and the infinite, skillful means, activities, omniscient mind, and then transforming them into their own Buddhata, and then we imagine, visualize, they're all sentient beings that we have been visualizing, equaling their space, all have then been transformed into, Guru Aratara, and they all achieve their highest potential, they all achieve or actualize their highest potential, the fully awakened state, fully enlightened state, in the form of Guru Aratara. So they all transform into Guru Aratara. So again, while we recite that mantras, so again, one of the benefit of memorizing the mantra, short, long mantra, is you don't have to think so much on the mantra itself. You can do all these contemplations, visualizations while you are reciting the mantra. If you have not memorized it, then you have to concentrate on the mantras. Then because our mind does not have at this point, our mind doesn't have capacity to concentrate so many things at the same time. So when you're concentrating on the sound, the mantra, then you cannot concentrate on the other aspects. So therefore, but if you have memorized the mantra, then you just recite it. You don't have to concentrate on that, but you just contemplate and concentrate on that, that loving kindness, compassion, and that visualizations. And so, so really imagine this one. That special one. Really imagine means you really concentrate. Thinking that is what really is happening. That you have able to transform all of them and lead them to that the enlightened state of the Aditara. So I think maybe I will kind of stop here today. Any questions or anything from today or from last time? Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
This has been very inspiring. Thank you so much.
Any questions? Any questions? Okay.
Geshe Sherab?
Yes, please.
Could I just clarify that we don't need an initiation to do this, do we? This is just for anybody to do?
Traditionally, I think it is really to do proper this kind of practice. We need the initiations. But I think, nowadays, people just pick up the books and they just start doing it, even without any teachings. So I think maybe now, but if you don't visualize yourself as a Tara, then I think you should be okay. Okay.
Okay. So that's your personal opinion. It would be okay.
Well, I think, should be okay. Nowadays we do Lama Zopa, even at the center, anyone can join it, and it's actually part of High Yoga Tantra practice. And so I think, I think things has kind of changed, I think maybe with the time. And so I think maybe it should be okay as long as you don't visualize yourself as Tara. So then the practice is settled. But if you have the initiation, then of course one can visualize as Tara. But if one doesn't have initiation, then you do not visualize yourself as Tara. Otherwise, you should be okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And then Mary, here you said 5 to 13 Devung monks, are they not doing on the 4th? Are they not doing consecrations? I thought they were doing a consecration on the 4th.
Let me check. I don't have the calendar in front of me. I will check and get back to you, Geshe-la. and I'll change the announcement for Sunday if that's what it is.
Yeah, maybe you might ask Venerable Tenjo, and I think last time he might have mentioned he asked on the there might be a consecration on the 4th. Okay, so then we do the dedications. Yevadi nyodo da lama sanke do kyone dowa chi kyama leva e sala kwe sho chancho sencho rinpoche ma ke pa na ke kyo che ke wa nyam pa me pa yang kong de kong tu pe wa sho. Yiben kam de pen de ma lu ba kang de chung e san pe yi she no ka din chung me din zen ja so la so wa de so tu che lun du sho. Tu tu chang xin chang gen ja ge ten zin zhong pe we kun so to for zi cho song ku we le mo tu tu pa da so du je kun du sha ten shu. Thank you very much, everyone. Good night. Thank you. Take care. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.